Hi, my name is Naomi. I'm 31 years old and I've never had a boyfriend. I've never been in a relationship, had a situationship, been in a talking phase. I don't even remember the last time I had a crush, to be honest.
In this video today, we're going to be discussing a video from the Hopeless Romantic Club where she did a video titled, I'm 31 and I've never had a boyfriend. Let's get into it.
Hi, my name is Naomi. I'm 31 years old and I've never had a boyfriend. I've never been in a relationship, had a situationship, been in a talking phase. I don't even remember the last time I had a crush, to be honest. And for the longest time, I was so ashamed of this fact. I was so scared of what others thought of me and how they would judge me and think that there's something wrong with me or that I'm a weirdo or a freak, but none of that is true. And there are actually thousands of us who have had the same experience, or should I say, lack of experience.
Okay, so she have been in situationships, but she never said she was a virgin, which means she has had sexual partners. What do she call those relationships? Because like what? Hookups don't count to some women? We're not judging this lady or anything, but we're gonna judge her a little bit because never having a boyfriend doesn't mean, you ain't been ran through. That's why I think it's very important for men to not only listen to what women say, but also listen to what they don't say as well.
So, welcome to the Hopeful Romantics Club, my new podcast where I'll be diving deeper into this conversation and sharing my journey of dating intentionally for the first time at 31. I'll also be interviewing guests and we'll be hearing from others who've never been in a relationship, those who've dated a lot, those who are already in relationships, because I love meet cute stories. They truly give a single gal like me so much hope and encouragement. So, who is your host? Like I said, my name is Naomi. I am a Canadian living in Los Angeles, California, and I'm actually a full-time content creator. I've been doing it full-time for the past 2.5 years, my main platform being TikTok. I started doing comedy content, which ended up transitioning into lifestyle, like vlogs and hauls. I like to call it cheesy basic bitch content. And then earlier in March, I created a special secret account where I talked about my dating journey. And so this is truly just an expansion of that. I'm a Christian and my faith is the most important thing in my life. It really shapes who I am, how I see the world, how I live my life, my purpose, and all of that. So definitely is at the center of dating and what I'm looking for in my future spouse. For my entire life, I truly believe that God was hiding me. It felt like he had a Harry Potter invisibility cloak that he just tossed on over me. For a long time, that did bring me comfort. I'm like, okay, God's got my love life in control. He's saving me from heartbreak and trauma and all of that. But then
That's what always trips me out. They always try to blame it on God. Oh, I'm just waiting on God to send me my man. And we are pretty sure that if God can verbally speak to all of us out loud, he would tell us that he sent this woman plenty of suitable husband candidates, but she didn't want them.
I recently heard a quote from a psychologist that really clicked things into place. And he said, you can have trauma from things that never happened. And I definitely feel like I have trauma from having never been pursued, never desired, seen, asked out, and all of that. I really struggle with self-esteem, self-confidence, how I see myself and my self-worth. I'm happy to say there has been improvement within the last couple of months, but it's definitely been tough. And it definitely all comes in waves, especially loneliness. I'm actually just coming out of a deep, dark, feels like a tsunami kind of wave of loneliness where the future feels hopeless and I feel like I'm forever going to be alone. Here I am trying to convince you that there's nothing wrong with me for having never been in a relationship, but I don't even know if I've really convinced myself. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I just see the ugliest human being ever, and I attribute that to why I've never been desired or pursued by a guy. Personally, the biggest source of my self-esteem is my acne and my skin, which I don't know if you can even see through the camera right now, but in real life, it's there. I've got the scars, I've got the dark spots. I don't even leave my house without foundation. And I know everyone struggles with something, whether it's their nose, whether it's their weight, whatever it is. But I think one thing that God is truly trying to teach me is that no man on earth will love me and love you as much as God can. And so I'm kind of in a space where I'm just leaning into him, allowing him to reveal who I am. And if you're not Christian, I just want you to know that you are a beloved child of God. He loves you. He created you with a purpose. You are a masterpiece of his creation. Like, look at the sunset, look at the mountains. You're actually more valuable and beautiful than all of that. And again, these are words that I'm saying out loud. I know it's head knowledge and I'm just trying to bring it to heart knowledge at this point in my life.
And I hope she don't think, being a Christian woman mean anything to men. I have known a lot of Christian women in my life, and even some of those women be mostly for the streets. And I definitely don't think that she's all that overly religious because she just used the word bitch earlier.
Halls, I like to call it cheesy basic bitch content.
Real Christian people, they don't curse so easily.
Like I mentioned, I grew up in Toronto, well, the outskirts of Toronto in a little suburb, and it never felt like home, which is why I never really was intentional about dating there because I'm like, I don't want to date a Toronto man. I don't even want to live here. But then when I came to my dream city of Los Angeles and decided to be more quote unquote intentional with dating, I found myself struggling. Again, a side effect of that low self-esteem is that I cannot even make eye contact with men. I see a cute guy, I'm immediately like eyes to the floor. And I'm learning that like guys need girls to drop the handkerchief, I still don't know how to say that word, because they too are afraid of rejection. My friends have even pointed out that when we're in group conversations and a cute guy comes in, I kind of turn into that Homer Simpson meme where I'm like disappearing into the bushes. I become a shell of a human being. I'm not my normal like outgoing and bubbly and funny self. And one thing I learned through the mindset coach that I'm seeing is that it comes from a limiting belief that I'm ugly and I am unworthy, like to talk to a cute guy. Yeah. Again, I told you, trauma from things that didn't happen. Trauma from never having been in a relationship. The hardest thing has definitely been that I am for sure a hopeful romantic. I know normal people say the word hopeless romantic, but I'm hopeful that God is writing the best love story and he's going to make my meet cute better than any rom-com out there. But yeah, I devour rom-coms. I love them. I live for them. I'm such a sucker for them. And so my entire life, I was kind of expecting this moment of a guy will just see me, come up to me and be like, you're the most beautiful girl on earth, and then ask me out. And of course, that's never happened. So when I moved to LA, a big wake-up call was the lack of effort that I had put in my dating life for the past 30 years. In every other aspect of my life, with friends, with my work, I always knew I had to put in effort. And I did all that I could to make those dreams a reality. For instance, I really wanted Christian friends growing up and never had any around me like at school or at work. And I really was expecting them to kind of just show up on my door until God's like, you need to seek them out. And so I did a Google search. I found like a young adult non-denominational Christian group, started attending that, and now I have like amazing Christian friends in my life.
Was there any single males a part of the group? Why didn't you meet anyone in the Christian group? Isn't Christian men something you're looking for?
With my career, I always knew I wanted to be a full-time content creator and put out videos for 6 years until it finally happened. And yet with dating, I kind of expected to just sit back, live my life, and he would show up. Prince Charming would just show up at my door, or even just, again, spot me from a distance and ride up to me on a horse. And so I read this book called How to Get a Date Worth Keeping by Dr. Henry Cloud, who's a Christian psychologist, and he has this dating challenge where he's like, your goal is to meet 5 new guys a week. You just need to talk to 5 guys, and it doesn't have to be in like a romantic sense. It could be someone who is in line at a coffee shop, at a grocery store, like just start a conversation. And so I'm like, okay, I could do this. It's a challenge. I can put in the effort like I have in other areas of my life. Easy. Except I would go out into public and try to talk to guys and would just fail. I would just turn into that shell of a human being, and it just felt like this crazy spiral that honestly went on for months. But now I'm back at a place where I'm honestly living my life, working on becoming a better version of myself and healing and trusting that God's going to make it happen in his perfect timing. I actually had an experience recently that kind of reminded me that I am quite possibly on the right track. I was walking in Santa Monica on my way to Sephora, and I was at a red light. Then all of a sudden I hear a voice from beside me, and this dude is just like, hey, do you know where this taco place is? And I turn and I'm like, no, sorry, I'm not from this neighborhood. And then the light turns green and I start walking, but he continues to walk beside me. And then he starts a conversation, tells me things about his life, that he's a politician, that he just moved to this neighborhood also 3 months ago, asked me questions about my life, and then eventually asked for my number. And I gave it to him. I honestly was not fully attracted to this guy, but that was honestly the first time I feel like I've ever been approached in public by a stranger like that. And again, I didn't put in the effort. Like, I didn't even know he was standing beside me until he spoke. I didn't have to like make eye contact or smile or do all the things that the books were telling me. And so I feel like that was a situation that God sent to remind me that it's not all on me. Like, I do not need to strive. I mean, he did turn out to be like kind of a weirdo, lots of red flags when it came to texting him, and I never ended up actually going on a date with him. Again, it was a huge learning lesson and a moment for God to be like, girl, I got you. And so that's currently where I'm at in terms of my dating life. I'm not sitting at home and doing nothing. I've been taking tennis lessons. I'm doing improv classes. I'm going to like all the events and stuff like that. But I've taken off the pressure of trying to make it happen myself and taken off the pressure of putting it all on me and my effort and my eye contact and all of that. And I know so many people have different opinions about this. I also, by the way, do not feel comfortable on dating apps. So no, I'm not on that. I did get it for like 3 days, felt so icky. And I'm very much a person who's like, if there's no peace in it, I don't want it. So I don't feel like dating apps are for me. And I'm not going to say never. Maybe, some desperate moment will force me back on those apps. But for now, I'm off it. I'm just living my life, keeping busy with things like this podcast and bringing you guys along for the journey. So thanks again for listening.
There will be a link down below where you guys can go check this video out for yourself. But she is really putting the odds really against herself now, because if she's not going to be on the apps, and she just said that all she's going to do is go out and give guys more eye contact, little do she know that is not enough in 2024. She's acting like she don't know that she has to do more than just be out and about and quote drop her handkerchief and some guy's gonna come over there and pick it up. No, men are not gonna be approaching her. She's gonna have to approach the men that she's interested in. You're gonna have to be the man now to walk over and say hello and introduce yourself. Also, just because someone hasn't been in a relationship ever doesn't mean that they're not sexually active. Men mostly care about a woman's body count. And we know better than to ask her that, because we can never trust her to give us the true number of her body count. So why even ask? But that's all I got in this video. You guys be sure to drop a comment down below and let me know what you think of what this 31-year-old single woman had to say. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.